Here we go again. Alrighty. I am with Omnath once again. Seems to be a common theme among these games. And my opponent is playing with Gisela, Blade of Gold Knight. Not a general you see too often, and for good measure, it's a 5/5 for 7. And in a format where the generals tend to top out around, the good ones tend to top around 4 or 5 mana. She doesn't really have much of a place, nor does the Boros colors. Red-white, just not too good, unfortunately. But this is a pretty interesting game, actually. Unfortunately, I have to mulligan this first hand. It's not keepable. And I mulligan into a hand of all mana and a duplicate, which, while pretty crappy, at least is means I can cast everything that I'm planning on doing, including Omnath. So we're going to keep it, given that it's probably better than an average 5-card hand. Plus I get the Scry ability, and we're going to put that on the bottom. Alright, Mountain. No Soul Ring early. Alright, that's good. Lotus Petal. Well, that's quite nice. That means our Omnath's coming to the party a turn early. Alright, he names Human. Cool, Wall of Roots is quite nice too. I'm going to play the Wall of Roots after attacking. It's nice of him to play the Cavern of Souls because it doesn't make white, so I can just charge recklessly into his mana. If he had played a white mana source here, I would have probably not attacked. I'm just so loath to get Omnath condemned when I can't replay it. So later in the game I would run into a condemn, but I'm not going to do it when my opponent has white untapped. Alright, so post-combat I play the Wall of Roots, remove a counter. And turn 3 he plays... Wow, talk about a silver bullet against Omnath. Mirran Crusader. Unfortunately I have one of about 3 cards in my entire deck that can deal with this thing in hand. Alright. Post-combat or end of turn I made a mistake. I should have definitely removed a counter from Wall of Roots. Pretty much always want to be doing that with Omnath. The wall doesn't really have much utility outside of just using it as a big mana battery over 3 or 4 turns. But I've got the duplicate. Makes a difference of me being unable to attack for... only attacking for one damage this turn, or 2, I guess. Yeah, 2 instead of 3. Not a huge deal. It's not like I couldn't cast the Kodama's Reach this turn because of the mistake. Alright. 3 mana again. Boros Reckoner. It's an odd creature. It's one of those creatures that seems super impressive and limited. If you're able to draft a dedicated Boros deck, this guy's pretty incredible. Not that Omnath cares about such things. Deals that much damage. Yeah. So what you can do is you can... Actually, I wonder how the interaction works there. Deals damage. You know, maybe this guy does is like kind of a hard counter to Omnath. His dealt damage deals that much damage to target creature or player. You know, I think... Actually, no, I guess I take that back. Because Omnath has 1 extra... No. The more I think about it, I think that this thing actually is a hard counter to Omnath, because you just block. It's going to deal 3 minimum, plus it deals whatever Omnath's power is back to Omnath, which means Omnath just gets iced by Boros Reckoner. It's kind of cool, actually. I did not consider that. That's timely. It's going to wasteland away that land. Of course, I just charged headlong into the Boros Reckoner, figuring he's probably not going to block it. Even if he does, I can just recast the Omnath anyway. But he does not block, so he just gets bash for 8. He's 1 turn away from just lethal Omnath damage, but I'm going to develop some more in case he does kill Omnath. So it's just insurance against removal. Tons of land in play, so Omnath is just 100% deadly now. 4 mana, what could he have? A Johnny Vengeant. That is a perfect answer to Omnath. Ugh. Now my board looks so much worse. And my deck rewards me by coughing up an Elvish Mystic. Alright, well that's fine. I have a million cards in the deck that can take advantage of an Omnath of infinite size, so we're going to just be pumping mana into him. He does have 5 counters on a Johnny already. He's 3 turns away from the ultimate. Balefire Liege. Alright. This guy really needs Nykthos in his deck. He's just chilling there. I'm not really sure why he would not attack with this thing, given the fact that I have nothing that blocks it. But he's just terrified of all my floating mana. Another forest. It's awful. Well, at least I can hold it. This is one thing about mono green. when your opponent gets a board and has things like planeswalkers, you just feel really, really helpless because you just don't have that many cards that can interact with things like that. And there's no way to stop anything from coming into play either. Ubra or Urabrask, the hidden this guy is pretty solid too. Again, he's just deciding not to attack me because, no reason to not deal 12 to your opponent. Alright. Maybe he's really terrified of me having a Scrib Ranger or something. Sudden Scrib Ranger, and Quirion Ranger shows up. Alright. So I play the Quirion Ranger, and I untap Omnath. And I think for a while, and I decide, alright, I'm just going to attack here. And I'm sending this guy, of course, to Johnny. This forces a block, since he can't even take a single hit from Omnath. He throws the Reckoner in the way. And because of the way that Reckoners works, you can see it says 20 damage dealt, so he could definitely... Actually, you know what? No, I could just pump... Okay, so he was right the whole time. I could just pump Omnath post-combat and add another, whatever this is, 10 to my mana pool, get him up to 30-30, and he would survive. But he kills off my Quirion Ranger, which is super unfortunate, because now I have no untap outlet again. Now we're back underneath the thumb of a Johnny Vengeant for a while. He just says done. So I imagine he's just got a hand chock full of big, expensive red-white cards. I have to get something in a hurry. I'm going to lose to him for sure. And Johnny's at 7 also. But at least we have 28 green mana floating, right? As long as he can't kill Omnath. As long as he can't kill Omnath, then I don't need land. Who the hell needs land when you have 28 mana in your mana pool? It's like more mana than I'd spend for the rest of the game. Alright, he cranks it up to 8, which I respect, since he's certainly not in any emergency to kill off all my land. And I'm definitely not in any emergency to play any more of them. Let's crank it up to 37. Forest. God, so discouraging. This deck is just... It's just done what Omnath does some games. It's the same problem with a lot of other commanders that you see, like Karametra and stuff. Generals and Azusa as well. That's the biggest defender of this, I think, which is you just draw a million mana sources and nothing to go with them, and you just sit around being mono-green until you're dead. Alright, he's wearing my Lotus. Alright, well, I certainly know what's coming. But hey, I've got 40 mana in my pool. It's like having 13 Gilded Lotuses in play. Arrows on my forests, which I expected. But who cares, man? I have 4 more forests in my hand. I don't care about your land destruction. Mindslaver, hell yes. Alright, well, as soon as I draw that, I did a little fist pump and figured I just had this game instantly won. Plus Omnath's untapped too, which is pretty incredible. And I elected not to attack, which was an odd choice, and I'm not quite sure why I did that. I think I may have just completely blanked on the fact that his Ajani destroyed all my lands last turn. But now I see why. At end step, and keep in mind, I control his next turn. I think maybe the reason why I did it actually was because I know I control his next turn, and I figure, what the hell could he possibly do? I'm going to be able to tap out all of his land and his creatures next turn. There's no reason to risk running Omnath into a Condemn or some similar white card that kills an attacker when I can just automatically kill him next turn. So I think that was the reason why I didn't attack, and it actually makes perfect sense. And he has Archangel Avacyn in his hand, which he's able to play right away. So all these guys are gain indestructible, and my attack wouldn't have done anything anyway. So looking at his hand, I'm thinking, man, please have something that kills your own board. Unfortunately, the Ajani is at 1 counter and not 2, so I can't use it to shoot one of his guys or shoot him. Battlefield Forge. That is not the kind of hand you want to see when you've got Mindslaver. But I figure, hey, I've got this game won anyway, right? Just send in an attack with all of his guys. We're going to Boros Charm himself. Unfortunately, I can't redirect the damage to Ajani, which is kind of lame. Just going to play that, take some damage, tap out. And everyone's coming in, right? He's tapped out and he's... Oh, shit. This thing has some vigilance on it. Damn it. That really, really blows. Well, I can kill one at least. Right? That's a good play. Oh, wait a minute. When this creature transforms into Avacyn the Purifier, it deals 3 damage to each creature and each opponent. And when a non-angel creature you control dies, transform Archangel Avacyn at the beginning of the next upkeep. Well, it does pay to read new cards. I actually have a physical copy of this card at the house that my son happened to open up in a booster pack of this set when it just came out. He got a couple of packs from the store, and one of them had Avacyn in it, which he was overjoyed by. And I was so enamored of the first set of abilities on this thing that I completely forgot that it flips over, and the condition that causes it to flip over, which is disastrous, because my entire plan here was that, okay, he's got a Vigilance creature, that's fine, but I can attack, and I know he has nothing of consequence in his hand, so I can attack with Omnath and then all these scrubby creatures, and Avacyn has to block Omnath, which will kill Avacyn, and the scrubby creatures will kill off a Johnny, and I'll have solved that problem. And I know he has nothing particularly good in his hand, and he'll be in a position where Omnath is just the Abyss, where it's just going to kill a creature he has out every single turn until the game is over. But I've completely forgot about Avacyn's ability to flip, and that is going to prove rather decisive when I have no attackers to attack a Johnny with. I float some more mana here. I'm astonished when this thing flips over during upkeep. God, I'm so astonished, in fact, that I didn't even tap my guys for mana. Oh my god, so terrible. Well, I can attack a Johnny, and he blocks it, of course. And I've got nothing but more forests. Imposing Sovereign. Yes, very, very imposing. Oh, this is so bad. And now he casts his General. I can add some more mana and take some more damage. But my guy is still locked down. And I think you can see where this is headed. Well, there are plenty of top decks left that could still pull my feet out of the fire. I have one turn. It has to be a handful of cards. It would have to be something like... Well, Karn would save me for a turn. I could draw Genesis Wave, of course, which would be insane. I could draw Greater Good. I could draw Life's Legacy. I could draw Garrick, Primal Hunter. What else could I draw? Yeah, that might just be about it. And, yeah, I guess Duplicant's gone, right? Yeah, I think Duplicant died a while ago. Is this a Duplicant game? Yeah, when I killed Mirren Crusader. So Duplicant's not an option. I could draw Regrow and hit the Mindslayer again, which would also allow me to win the game. So that's an option I could draw. So that means Eternal Witness, Green Sun Zenith, or Regrowth itself would be good. There's a lot of outs. One of them better come quick. And that is not it. This was the all-forest game all the time. And short of that Mindslaver top deck, this was just a game where I drew basically nothing. Kind of unfortunate, and managed to bungle it. And I still would have won if I had actually bothered to understand how Avacyn works. But unfortunately, I got nothing. I am one dead dude. Because I'm at 17, and he's got 2 attack steps. And I'm taking like 40 on this turn, and that is all she wrote. Game loss number 2 with Omnath. It does happen, and there will be more coming, I promise. See you soon.